Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining. My name is Katie and I'm with Consumer Voice. This training will be about 20 minutes long, and then the rest will be time for questions at the end, just so that we can send the recording to people that aren't able to attend live, and they can watch the first 20 minutes for the content. So if you can just hold your questions to after that, that'd be great. So I'm going to go over just a few reminders and things that are important, and then Tina is going to do a walkthrough of the conference platform and show you where to click and how everything works. Okay, so the platform is called Accelevents, and we have the speaker FAQs and speaker technical troubleshooting tips for you on our website, and they'll be linked in the chat. So if you run into any problems when you're trying to log on or can't figure something out, these are really detailed and have screenshots, and they can help you out. So on the day of the conference, you will be assigned a team of 3 Consumer Voice staff members. So they will be in contact with you this week. And on your team, you'll have a facilitator, a back-end support person, and a front-end support person. So the back-end, the facilitator is responsible for sharing all of your slides. So it's really important that we get your slides by December 7th, because we need time to combine all of the slides into one deck. So during the session, you'll say next slide, and the facilitator will progress them. They're also going to keep track of time. The sessions cut off right when the time ends. And you won't know that that happened, but the attendees won't be able to hear you anymore. So they're going to make sure that the session ends on time and that it doesn't cut off. They're also going to manage the Q&A and launch the polls. So at the end of the session, they'll ask you the questions that come in. And so you are not responsible for looking at the questions or managing the chat unless you want to. Like, you're welcome, you'll be able to see them, you're welcome to look in there, but you don't have to. Okay, and then the backend support is your main point of contact for technical problems. So if you aren't able to share your webcam or your microphone, this is the person that you'll contact. And they're going to give you most likely their cell phone number, so you can call them or text them if you need help with the platform. And then on your team, you'll also have the front end support person. So this is the technical support for the attendees. So the back end person is your technical support, and then the front end will talk to the attendees and make sure that they can hear you and answer any questions like, is this being recorded, or where are the PowerPoint slides, things like that. So this week, you're going to be contacted by your team, the 3 people, and you will meet with them to schedule an AV check. So just to make sure that you can get into the platform and that everything works, that your webcam and microphone work. So be prepared to have that meeting this week. And it shouldn't take very long. It's just to make sure everything's working. Okay, so then I just wanted to go over a couple of reminders. The first is that Google Chrome works the best in this platform. It doesn't recognize Internet Explorer at all. And Firefox and Safari are okay, but Google Chrome is your best bet. And then the other thing is that you need a webcam and a microphone in order to talk. So even if you don't plan on using your webcam, you need a webcam in order to talk. It won't recognize that you're in the session if you don't have a webcam. And there's no phone number to call in. It's all web-based. So you need either Wi-Fi or internet access on data to get into the session. And this is true for both speakers and attendees. So they can't call in. So it's really important, especially for speakers, to make sure that you have strong internet connection. So before the conference, you will need to register because if you don't, you'll only have access to your session. So the code is speaker 2020 for the discounted rate. So when you get to the registration page, you enter the code on the first screen that's there. And it's important when you register to use the email that we have, your work email, because if you use a different email, then you'll have 2 accounts, like one as a speaker and one as an attendee. So make sure that you're using the email that we are communicating with you. And then once you get into the platform, you'll need to upload a photo. And you can only do this 30 minutes before the first session on the day of the conference, so you can't do this yet, but you need to upload your own photo, like a headshot of you, because when you're in your session and speaking, and then you turn off your webcam, your photo will show, and like instead of your webcam. So it's really nice. It makes it more personal to have a photo there. Okay, and then I just wanted to, the last thing I wanted to say was about the types of sessions. So we have two different types of sessions. There's the plenaries and the breakout sessions. So the plenaries are like the keynote sessions where there's only one going on at a time. So if you're a speaker in a plenary, it'll be much bigger. Everyone will be there because that's the only thing happening at the time. It is automatically recorded and all of the attendees are on mute. So all of the questions will come in through the chat or the Q&A. So no one can ask you questions over audio. And then it's the same thing for the breakout sessions in terms of all the attendees are on mute and it's automatically recorded, but there's 4 going on at a time. So it'll just be smaller groups in the breakout sessions. Okay, so I think that that's all I had. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and Tina is going to walk you through the platform.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tina. I should introduce myself. I'm the Communications and Membership Coordinator at Consumer Voice. So I'll share my screen. I'm going to stop my video because the platform will use my video. Okay, so you should see my Gmail is up right now. So I'm showing you here the email that you all may have already gotten today, or if not, you will be getting this email. This is from Accelevents, and it's telling you that you have been linked to your session. So here it's showing me, this is just an example session. It's showing me my session name and the date and the time. And you can see it's like a little calendar invite. So the most important things of this email are these 2 links down here. So the first one, you can access a list of your talks here. We'll click on that. And this is bringing us into the platform. So this is your My Talks page. I'm going to click this caret right here so you can see a little more. And this is showing you all of the talks, the sessions that you are a speaker on. So here you're seeing like a lot of this stuff over here, lobby plenary, all of this stuff. This you'll see when the conference starts. But where I am right now is down here in My Talks. So I'm in My Talks, and that's how I see the sessions that I'm a speaker for. So I can see my date, the name of the session. I see my little picture down here because I'm a speaker. I can click Start Your Talk, and that will take me to what's called the Backstage Studio. So think of it as exactly what that is called, a backstage of before your session starts, where you'll check your mic and your audio and stuff. We'll look at it in a second. But that's what this will do. It won't actually start your talk. It will just take you to the backstage. So you can safely click that to go see that. But I'm going to go back to the email because this second link, so I'm back on my email. You can join the talk directly by visiting. This second link will also take me to the Backstage Studio. So I'm going to go there. And here I am. And you can see first it's going to have me check my video and my audio. So I can see myself. I can change my camera output if I would need to, or my audio output if for some reason it's not working. I can tell that it's working because these little blue bars are popping up. If you'd like, you can join without your video and turn it off. But I'll keep my video open and I'll click Join Call. So when I click join right there, I'm not joining a live session. I'm just coming just to the backstage, just to kind of check it out. This is where you'll come for your audio video check. This is where you'll come like, 15 minutes before your session, where you can see yourself, check your audio, and we'll go from there. So you can see the start broadcast button is up there. Your facilitator will be responsible for clicking the start broadcast button. And like Katie said, the session begins at the stated time of your session and when the start broadcast button is clicked. So when those two things are true, your session goes live to the attendees. But again, your facilitator will be in charge of that, so you don't have to worry about it, just so for your knowledge. Things you might want to know about on the left side is how you mute and unmute yourself and how you turn on and off your camera. You can see when I turn off my camera, my lovely little picture pops up again. So if I'm not speaking and there's not a PowerPoint going on, you'll see my picture that I've uploaded. So that's what Katie was saying. It makes it look a little nicer to have a picture. Also, we recommend while someone else is presenting, of course you want to mute, but you also want to turn your mic off. When there's a PowerPoint up, the person who is presenting will appear in like a little bubble. And so you want to turn your own mic and your own video off when someone else is presenting. So continuing down here, just for your own knowledge, I'll tell you what some of this stuff is. This is how you would share a PowerPoint. Your facilitator is going to share your PowerPoint, so you don't need to worry about that. Yay. If you'll see your PowerPoint kind of where I am on the screen right now, and you can say next slide to advance the PowerPoint and your facilitator will do it. Some of these other buttons, if you are interested, this is a people button. It will tell you who is in. Look, it's just me. I'm in here in this session. If I want that to go away, I just click it again. This is a hang up button, end. So I would leave the call if I would click that. And down here, this gear, if I click this, will show me my video and audio input. That same stuff I was seeing right when I joined. Here it is again, if I would need to work with it or something again. And again, to make that go away, I'll click the setting, the gear, and it goes away. So moving on the right side, some of the stuff is like familiar, very similar to other, webinar platforms. We have a chat up here. So chat, I'm in the session chat, and this is the name of my session right here. And this is the public chat. So any of the attendees will be able to chat in here. You are not responsible for paying attention to the chat. There is a consumer voice staff person who will be on the front end, like Katie was saying, who will monitor your chat for you. But just so you know that it is there. And that is the public chat. There's also, you can see the backstage chat. So this is if you would need to private message someone. So right now you can see that these are all admin, these are all consumer voice staff. Back here, your fellow speakers will also appear here. And if you would click their name, I would be sending them a private message. So the whole attendees wouldn't be able to see this, just Katie would. If you don't like this, that's fine. You can, like Katie suggested, you'll have the phone numbers with the people on your team. And so if it's easier to text or even to call someone, you can go ahead and do that if you would prefer not to mess with this backstage chat. That's fine. Okay, so we'll move on to polls. Your polls, we are asking that if you have polls in your presentation to send them to us beforehand, because then we can get them all set up for you and they'll be nice and queued up before your session starts. And this is another thing that your facilitator can handle for you. If you don't want to mess with your polls, your facilitator can launch them for you. And we could totally do that. But if you would prefer to be in control of your own polls, you also can do that. So right here, I have one that's all ready. Is this your first time attending Consumer Risk Conference, or whatever poll question you have here? I would click to launch it. I importantly need to answer my own poll in order to see the results. So this is not my first Consumer Risk Conference. So I'll click no, submit. and then I can see the results. So there's only me in here, so we only have one result, but this is viewable to the attendees if I was broadcasting. I will tell you that there is a short-ish, but not insignificant delay. It's about 10 to 20 seconds between what you are saying and what the attendees are seeing. So during your presentation, you can't really tell that this exists. However, the polls happen in real time. So if you say, I'm going to launch a poll, and then you launch your poll, the poll will happen in real time, but your attendees won't hear you say, I'm going to launch a poll, for a little bit of a delay. So we're recommending that you leave a good chunk of time for people to answer polls to make sure they see it, they hear you say to do it. Give people a good minute or so to do their poll. And also we're recommending that you don't close them. So then people can go ahead and still answer them, and you haven't taken away their opportunity to answer your poll. Okay. Only two things left here are the people tab. This is just showing you who's here in the conference with you right now. You know, we don't just have a couple of us here, but it will be populated with many, many more people. And then over here is the Q&A, which we don't have any right now, but this is another thing that your facilitator will watch the Q&A for you. You don't need to monitor it while you're presenting. Only if you want to. You can go look over and see what's going on in the Q&A. At the end, if there's time after the presentations, your facilitator will prompt you with any content-based questions that came through the Q&A. Like Katie said, the sessions end at the time, at the stated end time. So it's really important to be mindful of your time while you're presenting, because you will get cut off right at the end time, and the attendees won't see you anymore and the recording will end. So I'm trying to say that you should not take a long question, you know, with 30 seconds left in the time, because you wouldn't be able to get an answer out in time. You'll be cut off too soon. So just keep that in mind. Okay, let me see if I have any final reminders here before we take some questions. An important note about PowerPoints, the facilitator is going to share them for you, but unfortunately, the platform doesn't support videos within PowerPoints or any type of animations or slide transitions. So if you have a video that you really want to share, one workaround would be we can put a link to it in the session description. We can put it in the chat and encourage people to watch it in the chat. So just something to be aware of. Your PowerPoints are due by December 7th, so we can put them all together. And I think that's it. Yeah, so your next steps after this is that your team will reach out to you, your consumer voice team will reach out to you, and they will schedule an audio video check for you so you can get in here and make sure everything's working great. Okay. So we have some questions going on here.
Yes, we do have a couple. So I'm going to ask them to you, Tina, and you can just respond. And everyone's unmuted, so or you have control to unmute yourself. So if you want to share your webcam and we can just have a discussion and ask questions, we can do that too. But this is the end of the formal training. So the first question that came in was your integrated, do you need a webcam to talk? Like an external webcam?
So you need a webcam in order to enter the Backstage Studio at all. The studio has to detect that you have a webcam. You can turn off your webcam after you're in there if you don't want to be on video, but it has to detect a video camera.
Okay, and then someone else asked, can we open a website while we're sharing our screen with attendees to show them and navigate an online resource?
So we're kind of recommending against that, as we've found it to be pretty glitchy. We're recommending instead taking screenshots of a website you'd like to show and putting it in your slides instead.
And we can link the website in the chat, like Tina said, and in the session description. So as you're talking, people can click around too. But we're recommending that we're not sharing a screen and that it's all just in one PowerPoint. And then someone else asked for clarification on the videos. If the video is embedded into the PowerPoint that we sent, are we able to play it for attendees?
No, unfortunately not. The videos are very tricky in this platform. So they really don't work embedded in PowerPoints.
So another question, if I wanted to go into the studio through the Start Your Talk link to get comfortable with a co-presenter, when can we do that? And can we do it as many times as we want before the live presentation?
Yeah, totally. And that's a great point because you should. You can go into this space, the Backstage Studio, as many times as you want, click around, get used to it. You can't hurt anything. So definitely.
Yeah, even if you click Start My Broadcast, it won't mess it up because
Right.
it's not the time of your session. Yeah. Are
I
there
think
any other?
someone raised their hand maybe. You can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yeah, hi, this is Tony. So 2 questions. Will the speakers, or I'm sorry, will the attendees see the speakers or just their PowerPoints?
The attendees will see the speaker who is presenting.
Okay, well, and then could you like bring up a PowerPoint and then we could see how it looks? Or like just share your screen so we could see something that's, so we could have the perspective of the attendee, how they will see us?
Yeah, I can kind of show you how that will look. I say kind of because this is like the perspective of the facilitator. So it's not quite going to be the perspective. I'm just finding a PowerPoint here. It's not going to quite be the perspective of the attendee, but this will kind of give you an idea. So what you'll see is only the largest slide. And that's
Okay.
what attendees will see. The large side plus the person speaking shows up in kind of like a little bubble on the top left.
Okay, and then can the speakers see the attendees or is that not happening?
No, speakers can't see the attendees. Only the speakers will be on video and audio.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions? No? Okay. Well, if you guys think of anything, you can send us in an email, or if you need additional help or want to practice, you can just let us know. And in the chat, I linked PowerPoint slides to this training. So it's the PowerPoint slides I shared in addition to what Tina said, but in writing. So it's just kind of an outline of this whole training. So if you missed it in the notes, you can visit the PowerPoint. Okay.
So, this is Carol. If we have polls, who do we send those to?
Your team, who you'll be in contact with this week. Anyone on your team. Anything else? No? Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining. It was nice to see you all.
Thanks.
Have a good afternoon.